Welcome, everyone, to the seventh installment of the Chris Perish podcast. My name is Chris Perish. Alongside of me is the voice, Joshua Joseph. And we are live here on a multitude of platforms. But first off, if you people aren't fully energized, please go to rogueenergy.com and use the promo code PERISH, PERISH, to receive 10% off all orders. And we also are happy to announce that the Chris Perish podcast is live affiliated with Turnbuckle Studios, where they have a plethora of good programming like the Monday Night Watch Along every Monday nights at about 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Tuesday, check out Turnbuckle Talk with host Carl Carafel and Chris Best at about 8:05 p.m. Eastern. And then you can check out The Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke and OMD every Thursday night, varying from that 7-8 p.m. Eastern Time as well. Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's another Chris Perish podcast, and yet again, I've made my appearance as a co-host. So, doing fantastic. Enjoyed a little bit of wrestling this weekend, and took a little time, spent it with one of the twins, one of my daughters, and I think she found out how boring her father actually is. So it's an exciting time in my house.
Well, I wouldn't call you a Best Buy in this program because you're looking more like a staple to me. Yes, that's the first of dad jokes you'll get, but hopefully everyone's doing all right out there. Always trying to put a smile on her face, even if it's followed by the head shake saying, "Oh, Perish."
Very true.
Hey, awareness goes such a long way, doesn't it?
It does. Just be aware out there. If you take anything away from this podcast, just be aware.
Yeah, know that we are the two eyes in idiot, and we're okay with that.
Yeah. It happens. What are you gonna do?
It is. Well, I mean, we carry on. We move forward.
We do.
Just like in 6 days, we can move forward because this is a fun time if you're a fan of the WWE. The Royal Rumble is less than a week away, and it is going to be fun. Speculation are running wild. No, I'm not even talking about the Immortal One, but I am talking about potential returns, whether it could be Trinity, aka Naomi, or maybe even we go into the New Japan Pro Wrestling era, where Tama Tonga's name is being speculated more and more now after losing that never open weight title to Evil at New Beginnings on January 20th. Speculation arises that he is finishing up or has finished up with New Japan and looking to ink a contract with WWE immediately. You can also talk about Andrade.
Yeah.
Cien Almas coming back. Not Andre El Idolo, but Cien Almas. So many interesting possibilities. And that's just men. That's just the men's side. We could be seeing the in-ring debut of Jade Cargill. Could be seeing the return of maybe a Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, or I guess Trinity. I said Trinity, so I guess I did top that one off. And then cue your Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks speculations, because why not? It's fun. The one thing we do know is that Seth Rollins could be missing the Royal Rumble, as it's known that he has torn his meniscus and partially torn his MCL.
Yep.
And looking to address the WWE Universe on Monday. But Josh, are you a fan of the Royal Rumble?
Oh, who isn't? If you're a fan of wrestling, you have to be a fan of the Royal Rumble. It's the one night that all your wildest fantasies of wrestling can come true, because a guy will walk down that ramp, someone you may not have seen for a while, but yet you still get some sense of excitement. I don't think from the years I've watched the Royal Rumble, I don't think I've ever heard someone not pop for at least somebody there. You know, somebody in that crowd, somebody watching is going to at least pop for whomever it may be. And Trinity, let's just say that's going to be almost the guarantee. She's You can almost guarantee it. She gave her goodbye speech to the audience at TNA. She took her ball when they said, "Hey, I think we needed to split ways, go our separate ways, do whatever." She took her ball and she ran with it. She didn't sit back. She didn't mope about it. She didn't go on social media and say, "Woe is me." She went over to Impact, which is now TNA,
Yep.
and she built herself and grew her fan base. And I think that's our golden ticket. That's our one that we can almost guarantee is going to be there. But Mercedes Moné, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if she's going to make an appearance. I really think that they're playing this weird AEW card with her, and I think she's going to be there.
It's going to be interesting, just because there are people that are going to be that it's not a bad play if people are using this speculation just to create buzz around the superstar, even if it's just smokescreen, right? So like, even if Mercedes Moné is to go to AEW, it wouldn't be a bad idea or anything like that to use this buzz around whether or not she could be in the Royal Rumble to help better the pop for when she does go to AEW.
Yeah.
We don't know. And it is clear that there is no truly 100% accurate information out there, because we've heard both WWE and AEW almost being right away. I think that there is something very telling with how long something does take, that it becomes more obvious. And I think the longer this takes, it becomes more obvious where she does go. If you ask me, I do think the longer this negotiation plays out and we don't see immediate things done, because the one thing I will say is when you tend to have someone choosing AEW, they're debuting quickly.
But they've bit themselves in the ass with that. So why? I think, like I said, when the rumors came about with Mercedes saying that the WWE talks fell through because of they wouldn't match what Charlotte was making with her. You remember reading about that or hearing about that?
I read it. I don't believe it. I don't believe when I hear money being a thing online, I really question it, because I don't think anybody knows the offers being sent. Nobody ever publicizes that information. So I find it very funny that people say that, unless it's coming from the direct source, which it's not the case. And we've seen videos of Mercedes Moné putting a fan in place because that fan thought they knew more about what's going on.
Yeah. So, and this is the one, but you see, here's my, I see exactly what you're saying, and I can definitely go down that path. But I mean, if you just had me here to agree with you, that'd be kind of a boring show, don't you think? So here's my point. When all that came about, there was a lot of mistakes AEW has done with bringing in new talent or buying up someone's contract and having them appear. With her, I said specifically, she is the mind to completely take her own narrative on this and actually make an impact. And I really think that with WWE doing the Royal Rumble on a Saturday, I think we could see her appear on that collision during the Rumble. I think that's where the play is going to be.
See, like I won't be like unhappy if she doesn't go or doesn't come in the Rumble. As Pete Leeds is coming in saying, nothing wrong with getting as much money if you are in the match. That's true. you got to get yours.
Yeah.
And if you're a free agent, you got to play that. And you got to get. I'm never going to fault people for getting more money. I mean, kudos to that.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I am not the world's biggest Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné fan. So I'm not going to be butthurt if she doesn't go to WWE.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be upset if she goes to AEW, which are really the same thing. But in its essence, I mean, she doesn't have to go to AEW and not go to WWE. Apparently TNA is a cool thing now. But
well, wasn't she spotted at TNA at the last
with Bailey? Bailey.
Which up there. See,
like,
so
yeah,
kind of like, wait a minute.
And you know who also was like supposedly there as well?
Who?
Triple H and CM Punk. And it's a very dicey photo. And I'm like, I hate to go off it. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, there's no clarity, in my opinion. But there was a photo that there was Triple H, Mercedes, and Punk. And I'm like, well, I couldn't personally identify anybody in there because it was such a choppy photo. So I'm just like, it is what it is. But if that was true, I couldn't imagine what it was like. But I mean, Bailey and Mercedes are best friends. So I mean, if that's just two friends hanging out at, like, I'm not going to throw.
And plus, Trinity was there, wasn't she?
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense that those two would be there to support their friend in one of her final matches of TNA, you know. So I'm on the same boat with you on this one. Let's not read too much into it. Let's see where it's going to land.
I already said it's Royal Rumble. You gotta let the speculations consume, man.
Oh, okay. Well, let's just throw them out. You know what? I'm thinking we're gonna get I don't know, Papa Shango. He might come back, and we're gonna have that. That'll be cool. Every other one I'm going with is going to be dark, and I don't want to go dark.
Let's go with actual, like, real life, like, current speculation. Let's just limit. Let's not.
Well, we know Dolph Ziggler will not be there, so
no,
we can count him out.
Unless JR is bringing in another person to play Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, that's a joke based on the fake Razor, fake Diesel thing.
Let's not go down that.
Pete Leeds is saying the wrestler should know their own worth and pull as in audience. That's a really true thing, but at the same time, a lot of wrestlers do not know their true value.
Well, they have to be realistic with it too.
Yeah,
I've worked on a couple of indie shows where some of the top guys are like acting like they are Flair himself, and it's like, dude, there's 15 people out here.
Well, I mean, you said it. Mercedes was rumored to say, I want the money like Charlotte Flair.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well,
has she put in the work recently to get that?
I will change that question to something else. When it comes to have they put in the work, I think a lot of the top people put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is her value looked at by other people in the same way as a Charlotte Flair? Because if it is, then why shouldn't she be paid? But if it isn't, then there's that disconnect, I believe, from maybe somebody's perceived value to maybe a company's perceived value.
I would like one day for us to dive deeper into that topic. I think that would be a very good topic to go into.
You definitely could.
Yeah.
Pete Leeds is also coming in saying Hulk will return as he needs to pay his son's fine.
Well, that family that he saved the other week, they helped chip in for some of Nick's fines. I'm joking. It's horrible. I'm happy that he was at least in the position to help another human being out, and he did it. But I mean, come on, let's face facts. Hulk Hogan is not a good guy. No matter how many things he turns over, he's done some pretty shady shit with his personal life. And
he made me an enemy when he said he was going to go into Metallica and lied about it. You do not mess with Metallica to me, boy. If you're going to pretend that you are in the class of Metallica and you're lying about that, then shame on you, brother.
Yeah.
Go to GNR. That's a dysfunctional band that you could probably have gotten into.
Don't even get me started on those jokers.
um, but yeah, so kind of getting back to that Royal Rumble. Who are your maybe as we're sitting 6 days out? Who are your predictions? As we all know that there's 4 matches as of right now announced. We have the men's, we have the women's Royal Rumble, we have Roman Reigns defending his Universal Undisputed Championship against AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton, as well as Logan Paul defending the United States Championship against Kevin Owens. What kind of are you like? How are you kind of looking at like who do you think is going to come out your winners so far?
Okay, I'm just going to go off the top with the 2 biggest matches of the night, which is going to be the 2 Rumble matches. And men's, I'm going to say Gunther. He gets it. I mean, it makes the most sense. And I say that because I'm seeing WWE go back to the idea that the IC title, things like that, are going to be more meaningful, and they actually represent that second place to the top, which transitions you into a top guy like it used to be when it was fun, when you could kind of predict a little bit what was going to happen. So let's go there. That's where I'm going with that one. I know it's a vanilla pick, but it just seems like that's where they're going. Women's, I'm going to say Bayley, because I think that storyline, Bayley is going to be leaving Damage Control. She's built it up. I don't think Damage Control is going to dissolve, but I do think Bayley is going to separate from it. And then when it goes, Chris Best, great to see you.
Hello.
The Fatal 4-Way, I still see Roman walking out with it. I mean, again, I'm sitting here saying I'm making the picks that make the most sense story-wise. And I just, even though I want to see it go elsewhere, because I think Roman's ready to tweak his character a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying, let's just be realistic, okay? The appeal of Roman Reigns has died down a little bit. To a lot of fans. And you have to adapt to that. And I think you have the guys in the head office that understand that. You have Roman who understands that, and you have the guy next to him, Paul Heyman, who's understood that his entire career. So I think there's going to be something coming up later on, but I do not think it's going to be Rumble where Roman loses the title. And I think they're going to make it's going to be an amazing match, and Roman's going to have a big moment in it that is going to bring back some of those fans who have lost some things with him. Now, when it comes to Logan and KO, I think if you're going to put a lot of your eggs in the Logan Paul basket as a promotion, you have to have him beat Kevin Owens in this. Mm-hmm. And you have to give him his Royal Rumble moment when it comes to a big match and trying to outperform the highlight of the night, the Royal Rumble. That's why we're here. That's why we come to watch. And I think Logan can do that. And I think Kevin Owens is the guy to help him get to that point. So those are my picks. That's where I think it's going. I think WrestleMania will be where Logan drops the title. I don't know who it will be, but I think that's where that would end up. And I think it's going to put him into kind of like a cool area where he can go after the bigger guys, and he can be, put up into that standard.
Yeah. Also, just to before I transition into my picks, Chris Best, as we saw coming in, if you would like to check out a good gaming stream, Chris Best is the guy to check out every Saturday night. Check out Saturday Night Gaming over on Chris Best's Twitch, the CBRS Entertainment platform, as well as I believe some Turnbuckle Studios platforms as well. So go check those out and enjoy some Saturday Night Gaming with Chris Best. But the one thing I love about this setup already for the Rumble. One, the 4 matches I love. That means we're going to get some time with these matches.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be surprised if we see another match maybe added. Maybe, and I think one match that could make some sense could be a triple threat tag team match for the women tag team titles. If you want to put KC Squared versus Damage or the Kabuki Warriors versus Alba Fire and Nyla Dawn, I would have time for that match being added. And I think that would be cool to add a women's match, let alone a tag match too, because you don't have any of those yet. So that's going to be interesting. There isn't a Rhea Ripley match really to put out there. There really isn't an EO match to put out there. So, and I don't know if there's really a men's tag team match that you can stretch one and maybe do Creed Brothers, but that's a stretch. That's not or maybe even DIY.
I like what you were saying though. I mean, come on, let's do that. Let's do a triple threat women's tag team. You know what? Let's step it up and make it a TLC match.
Whoa. Save
no.
Save that for Mania. I got an idea. We know like one of the best things that happened to the men's tag team division in the last 20 plus years was the TLC between the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys, right? Why not use this as your opportunity to do something similar, but with the women's side, and make it a WrestleMania staple?
But how did we get there? Remember how we got there?
Yeah, but it wasn't at a Rumble. It was at a SummerSlam.
Yeah, I know, but hear me out. It started with a tag
triangular
ladders match.
Yeah.
And then you had the Dudleys with their tables, Edge and Christian with their chairs. So it all morphed into it. Yeah. So that's where what did we just see with the Kabuki Warriors Friday night? Coming in.
I didn't watch all of SmackDown, I'm not going to lie.
Okay. So at the end of the tag match, the Kabuki Warriors come in with the tag titles. Asuka's doing her dancing around, all this stuff. It's a moment where you're like, oh shit, they're fucking poking fun at the tag champs right to their face in front of the entire crowd. Then they hand it to them.
Oh, I did see that on a short, like on
But what I'm saying is you're building something there.
Yeah.
When you're doing that with the Kabuki Warriors, you're building their fan base, you're building their story, you're building a step to where we can get. I think it would be awesome. And I like what you said, WrestleMania. Let's stick to that to WrestleMania. A women's TLC match at WrestleMania. That's awesome.
Hey, man,
that is bringing me in.
I'm also the same guy that said if WWE really wanted to go big, you have 2 nights of Mania, make one WrestleMania night, all women. That would be amazing. That would be huge. That'd be groundbreaking. It would be historic.
I remember being in the chat when you said that. That would have been. That's an awesome thinking on a level of today.
Go big or go home. That's what
exactly. I said. Why not? Let's see, because the women's talent that we have in wrestling today is like
phenomenal.
It is. It's phenomenal. It's an abundance. You can find somebody that you can relate to and their style and the way they work in a ring.
The variety is as like a lot of people want to talk about the amount of different types of women wrestlers back in the Attitude Era. There was Trish, Lita as like the focal fronts. Then you had the Molly Hollies, you had the Jazz, you had the Victorias, you had the Gail Kims, the Mickey James, right? But now we're seeing completely different types of people, whether it's Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, Becky. Then you're getting like people like Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, the Kabuki Warriors, Io Sky, Bailey. And then you have high flyers like KC Squared. But then you're also looking at Nia Jax, who's a big powerhouse, who, by the way, is getting just better every week. Put some respect on the development of Nia Jax on this run because she deserves it. And then on top of that, you have people like Ivy Nile coming up in the ranking. You have people like Raquel Rodriguez still there. Like she's lost in the shuffle right now because there's nothing really going on. She's also not doing well right now. So hopefully everything is better with her. I believe she has that skin condition going on, which I really hope she gets better from that because I want to see that. I want to see her back as soon as possible. Then we talked about, Trinity, Naomi potentially coming back. Just such a completely different group of women now. Yeah. So well versed. And it's easy to book a 30 women Royal Rumble now with their current group. It's phenomenal. Chris Best coming in, and you could have all the women's titles on the line that night, including the NXT women's title. Exactly. You're showcasing every piece of just, I'll say, merchandise in the way of the championships. Everything that you did to financially invest in the women roster can be showcased at this Mania. And it's awesome. That's what I would do.
I agree with you, and I think this would be cool if we had a perfect world in my head. If we had a perfect world where all these promotions kind of worked with each other, you could have all three of the top promotions, AEW, TNA, WWE, take all their women and have like a World War night. And it would be something that everybody would tune in to watch because like you said, the abundance of the talent, and the diversity we have when it comes to matches and things like that. You're not hearing tonight on Raw, we're having a lingerie match. Come on down. You're gonna hear Lawler go, puppies. It's not that wrestling anymore. It's actual women's wrestling that actually makes sense, that is actually storyline driven, that right now the world of women's wrestling is the highest it's ever been. And I think a lot of them can say there's so much higher they can go, and they're proving it match after match. Like Nia Jax. I've been on the Nia Jax train ever since she started, and to see that the fans are noticing that she is putting stuff together, to see that she's actually putting together a match and becoming the dominant force she can be, that's awesome. That is fantastic. I'm on board for a Mania night being all women's. Give it one night. Let's see what happens.
And Chris Best is saying, on my show last night, I said that we are in an era right now where everyone on the roster can be made a legit contender, and it's believable. Could not agree with you more. Also, just to add another female name to the speculation of this year's Royal Rumble, I'm going to light it up. Maybe a one-time deal, but AJ Lee, her name out there as well. What if? I don't think it's going to happen, but speculation. What if? Hypocrisy Jones coming in saying, at least give us Evolution PLE back. I would definitely entertain the second. I know why it's been this long. The first one did not do well in terms of numbers, but I do think if done differently, if you can bring back the XFL 3 times, you can do Evolution too.
You won't let XFL die.
I think TNA wrestling is a perfect example that if you don't quit on something and just let it go, eventually it'll be great again.
Well, I mean, you might have a point there. I mean, we're just in an era right now that the biggest question is what are they going to do to give that extra boost? What can they do? Is it going to be accepted by the fan bases? And I think all those questions do have answers. And I think we're right now in the best part of wrestling with Triple H behind the helm of the biggest promotion on the planet. And it seems like TNA is really becoming even more fan driven. Is that fair to say? Like they listen to their fans quite often when it comes to their stories and things like that.
I think they were willing to change. And I think a lot had to do with obviously the legalities of what happened with
Hmm.
when Vince is pushed out of
Hmm.
things and the Endeavor merger happens and Triple H takes over. It's just a completely change of who how they do wrestling, right? There's a
Yeah,
difference of Triple H how he runs wrestling in 2024 than Vince McMahon.
most
Now,
definitely.
people were getting very tired of Vince McMahon's version of wrestling. And then now with Triple H, it's different. It's a little bit more fresh. He seems not that he doesn't insult your integrity. He brings Pete Dunne back. Yeah, that happened on
Yeah, it
SmackDown.
did.
Um, now just bring back his first original theme song, please, please. That
Hey,
was such a
come
banger.
on.
I don't
Just
hate I don't hate what we have, but I don't love it.
let Pete Dunne, he'll get there. He'll be right back to what we had.
You know what
And
I
it
don't
was
get?
fantastic to
Yeah,
see
you
him
know what I
back.
don't get though? Randy Orton can keep his theme for like 20 years, right? They can talk
Hmm.
about, hey, Rev Theory did a remastered version. Nah, don't want it. Okay, cool. But now all of a sudden WWE's like, we're not going to use the CFO music. We're just going to play, even though we'll still use Worlds Apart for Sami Zayn, but we got to go Def Rebel and everything. And I was like, yeah, but some of their songs suck. Like, don't you own the
Well,
rights to everything?
yeah. I mean, I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there. I mean, we got the Rumble coming up. Who's to say that won't be?
It's just funny because on my one of my TVs, I have past Rumbles, and you had Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight, in there. You had Andrade in there, and I'm like, oh my god, is this foreshadow? But
I think it really is. And like I
yeah,
said, with the Trinity being the golden ticket coming back, I think Andrade is that other golden ticket who is going to be back.
um, Parker Z. Jones, I'm 100% with you. At the very least, I will say WWE is working on that, and it's what I
Yeah.
like. What I like all about their programming now more than I did a few years back is it's almost like everyone has a storyline going on, and that's what it was like back in the Attitude Era. That it almost seemed like you could put anybody in a spot on the show where it makes sense. I'm invested. There's a backstory to why they're doing it, and I think
Hmm.
that was something that was lost with Vince McMahon was the why, because it was now a why question mark with Vince. Now it's a why exclamation point with Triple H. And I think
Yeah.
that's the difference just in a nutshell there.
It's refreshing too.
Yeah. But they use the Rock's Jim Johnson music still. They use Stone Cold's Jim Johnson. They use a lot of Jim Johnson still. And I'm pretty sure Jim Johnson had a hand in all of Triple H's Motorhead songs too, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a good possibility.
Yeah. But also my predictions for the Rumble because we went on
Yeah,
on a
let's
tangent.
get that.
Hey, it's nice to like have something and then just spread out for a bit.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm a lot like you on the women's rumble. I think Bailey is going to be the winner. Um, I I'm very curious to see the how it's going to shape up because I do think we're going to see a flat out turn at or not a turn or at least something definitive. I think Bailey wins the rumble, and I wouldn't be so sure that instead of Damage Control congratulating her, we see Damage Control turn on her.
Yeah.
And then
I
now
think
the road to WrestleMania for Bailey is definitive. I thought it was very telling on SmackDown that Bailey wore a Rhea Ripley shirt. I'm intrigued by that because both Rhea Ripley and Bailey are surprisingly entering the babyface turn.
yeah. Yeah,
So
they
it's like
are.
interesting.
And this with Charlotte getting injured, it kind of threw a bunch of wrenches in where they're going to go with that.
Yeah,
Because it looked like they had some
I heard
idea what they were going to do with her.
I heard it was supposed to be Jade and Charlotte at WrestleMania.
God, wouldn't that would have been awesome.
No, I honestly like, as much as I would love to see Bianca and Jade,
Mm-hmm.
I much rather have seen somebody new like Jade come in, and you have somebody as hungry but more proven like Becky Lynch to go up against that, and that would be a match. And I look at Bianca and Rhea as your female modern day version of Rock and Austin.
Yeah.
Those are your two faces of your women's division. The one thing I thought The Rock and Austin had that made the rivalry so much better was multiple WrestleMania matches.
Okay.
And I think I pulled the trigger on doing Rhea Bianca 1 at WrestleMania. And then use that to help slow play what could become a giant rivalry down the road for WWE.
I like that. I would also like the idea of like a Bianca taking Jade under her wing for a little bit and just like kind of doing something with her, like maybe little tag things, maybe coming out with her.
Lashley's faction.
Yeah, and then turning on her.
Yeah.
And then Bianca coming that badass that we all know she is.
Mm-hmm.
And like cementing that, like what you're saying with the Rock and Stone Cold image that these both these women hold for their division. Now, I'm telling you right now, Bianca, I feel 2024 is going to be a year of Bianca Belair.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that she's just waiting for that storyline to pop. She's waiting for them to narrow down exactly what's going to happen with her and what push they're going to do with her, because why not? Why not? Why keep her mid-level? I mean, we know what she can do and everything, but let's be honest. She's not, these past 3 months, she hasn't really been getting the best matches. She hasn't been put in the best positions. But
she's almost the odd woman out right now.
But she's not dying off. She's still keeping her name fresh. She's still doing things in her matches, even though they're not the big level matches that we're used to seeing with her when she had the title. We're still seeing Bianca still be Bianca Belair, and that's what got her to the dance, and that's who she's going home with, and that's exactly what we need from a strong competitor like that.
Yeah. And I believe Philadelphia could be the perfect route and the perfect city to where if you wanted to do a double turn on Rhea and Bianca and flip them, that could have been a perfect and monumental moment if done properly.
Yeah.
Because
it's a perfect setup.
Right? So like, and I don't know. To me, I always think when it comes down to that marquee match with someone who can help mold that person into kind of the spotlight, I think obviously Bayley is someone a lot of people go to now over maybe Natalya just because of star power currently. But I think Becky Lynch is so good at that role, and she always gets, I don't want to say overlooked, but maybe thought, no, we got to do more. But it's like, if you did that once in a while with Becky, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because I really don't want to see her in the title picture again, but I do want to see her in the big marquee match. Like her against Trish was phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
And it was not for the title. And look how much that really benefited like Zoe Stark at the time.
Yeah, and it's exactly like you said with the Rock and Stone Cold comparison. Let's also expand that view. And during that time, who else was there? There was Mick and Undertaker. And honestly, if you get, to me, Becky Lynch is a Mick type character where you don't have to have a title on her, but if you want a good goddamn story, you put the man in that storyline, and she's gonna rock an awesome, maybe not main event, but she can do a main event, but you don't have to have her in the main event, but something with main event capabilities. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and another match that could scream WrestleMania with her that's organic is her and Naya. That story is also not finished. Going back to the predictions, I do have Roman Reigns retaining his title. I actually am now convinced he might not even lose his championship at WrestleMania. It all depends, in my opinion, who he faces. If it's him and Rock, he still retains and he's still his champion. If it's, say, him and Cody, him and Gunther, okay, I might have a different tone. But I also wouldn't be so insanely unbothered by him retaining, simply because you have some large PLEs coming up. Barker Stadium using the PLEs for him. And maybe you have Gunther winning a Money in the Bank, or maybe they bring back King of the Ring and he faces Roman Reigns at the Bash at Berlin. And the storyline going there could be Bloodline versus Imperium, with the two head of their tables going up against each other. And I'd even contemplate keeping the Intercontinental title on Gunther and doing title versus title. Because now you're guaranteed somebody's going to lose their title, and it's been a while, and you can't really fathom which one it is.
When is Money in the Bank?
It's usually June, July.
And Damian Priest still has the Money in the Bank.
Okay. Well, I think he's going to cash that in on the world's heavyweight title on Raw.
So you think they're going to go with that for the storyline?
I think so. If
that, just to me, that seems too easy way out.
One, I think, yeah, but I think if Seth Rollins is hurt and needs to be taken off TV, and you want to keep that championship on, I mean, as much as that's not your preferred way of cashing it in, I mean,
but they could vacate it and have a tournament, and then he could hold on to that, and then
what I think they should do is have Seth Rollins coming out. I know, can only say try to, because I've done this in my career. Come out and know that he has to forfeit the title because he's not medically cleared. But before he does, Damian Priest comes in and cashes it in and is handed the title because Seth Rollins cannot compete, therefore has to forfeit the title to him, thus turning your match with Drew McIntyre, already scheduled on Monday for that championship, to where you end Monday night in a chaotic spree with everyone invested in the Royal Rumble match, to where that does not get a definitive winner. Thus, Damian Priest is somehow scathing out with the championship. He is getting all this heat because he never actually won it. He was just handed it to him. And then you have him defend it in Perth, Australia, in the Elimination Chamber.
I mean, it makes sense story-wise. I just don't want that.
No.
I do not want that. I want Damian Priest to... I wanted him to continue what was going to happen. And I have a feeling that he was going to, at the Rumble, cash that in during that match. Maybe at the end, whatever, what have you. Because you're setting up, we're obviously on the road to WrestleMania. And I think it would be cool, and this is just my fan opinion, I think it would be cool to have Damian Priest enter the WrestleMania with the title, and then having a big banger match with him and Drew going at it at WrestleMania, because I think that those two guys with their two sizes and the capabilities that they can go in a match, that gives me a 25 to 30 minute match with those two.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for a match like that. A match with that caliber at that stage brings me it hurts that we're going to be losing Seth for however long we're losing him, because he is a fun aspect of WWE. I mean, he's a draw. So it's going to suck without him there, but like we've talked about throughout so many of these episodes, right now the WWE has so much talent. It's almost like plug and play. And as a fan, if it was shitty plug and play and the cables aren't matching up, I'm going to be pissed. But right now, the landscape is not shitty for them. They have the ability to do that. And your whole scenario actually makes the most sense. And it probably seems like that's where it's going to go. But again, I don't want it to go that way. I want it to be,
like,
you know.
If you ask me my preferred way of Damian Priest cashing it in, I wanted him to cash in on Punk and Rollins at Mania for the title. If they were doing that match and they're doing it for the title, Heist of the Century Part 2, and it happens on the guy that made the Heist of the Century famous. I think that's apropos. But then I'm also looking at it like, if they do Rock Hogan, holy crap, is Damian Priest even ballsier if he's to cash in that match and pins The Rock to become champion. That makes Damian Priest look like a bigger deal.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's not the most, and this is only if Seth Rollins is out for an extended amount of time. Nothing's been confirmed or definitive as of yet. I think we get more answers on Monday on Raw. But I think what sucks about this is that this injury could prevent a lot of original ideas or original plans to be maybe scrapped or changed just because of this scenario. And I do think that's probably something that's going to happen. It sucks on the timing. It sucks on the situation. But I always believe there's a solution that makes sense, and I think there's always a solution to make people happy. Before I finish off my predictions that are taking way too long, Chris Best, he said, so here's a scenario. Let's say Sasha Banks does sign with WWE. She returns to the Rumble and goes face-to-face with Jade Cargill, who has been dominant in the Rumble. They trade blows, and this leads to Jade getting eliminated. Jade, of course, is upset by this and leads to Sasha versus Jade. I don't hate that, but I am going to think that if by chance Sasha is signing up back in the WWE, I think her and Trinity side with a face Bailey to go against Damage Control.
Yeah, I don't want to see Sasha with Jade until Jade's been put through a lot of the knowledge of what they need for a good match. I think you have to protect Jade at all costs, and putting in her with a let's not cloud anybody's vision, but Sasha has been known to be problematic in some situations. So you wouldn't if you have fire, you wouldn't put it next to a wick and be like, don't connect you two. I think I would like the scenario if Sasha was old school Sasha, when she was, when she was getting everything that she deserved and that she'd worked hard for. You have to weigh the Sasha you have if you're bringing her back in.
Yeah. I wouldn't hate the moment in the Rumble, but I think that could be a moment that you could foreshadow for a year down the road, as we saw last year with Cody or with Gunther and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And then also CBRS saying, why not just put the title online in the men's Rumble? Personally, I've done that how many times before? To me, that's a bigger cop-out than maybe Priest cashing in on Rollins on Monday. But
I can see where you're going with that.
I also think if you have this contract of guaranteed championship match at any time, and you want to say, oh, it increases your odds of winning. Well, if the champion is unable to compete and defend or compete for the title, isn't that not like the best time to do it as a heel? Just
You know what? I think it would be really humorous and be a big curveball if they randomly put a number in an envelope, okay? And then after the Rumble on Raw, okay, nobody has the title. Nobody has it. It's vacant still. Triple H opens up the number. Whatever number was eliminated, they get the title. Just piss everybody off.
Imagine if that number ended up being like Brock Lesnar's number too.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be funny?
Or like it's Tozawa's number.
Dude, all I'm thinking about is all
And he
the
was
hate
grabbing the title, doing
on
his little
Twitter.
dance.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's got me crying just thinking of the
I mean,
of it. Oh.
I understand what you're saying, Chris, on that, but you could have Priest cash in on the winner and the Rumble as well if he gets eliminated. I was kind of in that same mindset too. It's just a matter of, I think now you've kind of taken the steam away from the Rumble, and we know that person isn't going to main event WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think that takes a lot of steam out of the Rumble match itself. And I think you can play that. If Seth is out and you have to vacate the title, if it's not a Priest cash-in, I would just make the winner of the Elimination Chamber 6-man new champion. I would do it that way. And then you're, for the first time ever in Perth, Australia, you're crowning a world heavyweight champion. And you can play that tagline to make it a larger than life moment as well.
It makes sense.
And then too, like my men's Rumble winner.
Yeah.
So I got Roman retaining. I actually do think Logan's going to retain. I'm on the same length way as you were. Kevin Owens, I think, is just in a spot where his goal is to make Logan Paul a bigger superstar.
Yeah.
And then we're probably going to see him do something at Mania that kind of is like, this is our thank you for doing that. Because I do eventually think Logan Paul, LA Knight for the US title is going to be WrestleMania with LA Knight taking the US title off Logan Paul. Then I do think that's happening. I don't have Gunther winning the Rumble strictly because I do think we're going to see Gunther eliminate Brock Lesnar in the Rumble. And lately, the person eliminating Brock Lesnar is the person who faces him at WrestleMania for the most part. We saw it with Drew. We saw it with Bobby Lashley. And this year, I think we see it with Gunther. And we finally get the Gunther versus Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. And I think that's something that a lot of people want to see. And I don't think we waste an opportunity to do that. Because you don't have 2 nights. No, but you don't have many more scenarios where you could probably do him and Brock. I think the window.
Oh, very true. Very true. But what I'm saying is, I mean, in my opinion, it seems like Gunther's taking over the Brock shoes of the WWE. Yeah. So, in my opinion, and this is just what I'm thinking to make that happen, because who knows how long we have Brock. I mean, honestly. No one's going to tell him, no, you can't do that. He's going to
eventually in F5 subs blowing.
Very true. Very true. But I really see if you're going to cement Gunther, yes, a WrestleMania Gunther Brock IC title, give that to me Saturday night. But also give me Gunther main event. I want him and Roman looking at each other. I want them to just build this up to a murderous event and then let it unfold. And where the chips lie is where the chips lie.
Yeah. And that's why, like, for me personally, I'm targeting Bash at Berlin for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that makes, like I said, that makes perfect sense.
And I think that would be so much better. Like, Imagine Gunther winning his first world title in Germany. Like, imagine that entrance for both guys. You have Final Boss and Roman, and then you have like, imagine like the best leader, like whoever Germany's favorite leader is, that could now is replaced by Gunther.
Okay. But imagine him getting his redemption after he lost at Mania to Roman, and then he goes back on homeland and he brings it home for mother country or country mother, whatever.
I just don't like the vision of Gunther losing, especially when you have an opportunity to have undefeated champion versus undefeated on the main roster.
Yeah. And like I said, your actual scenario makes more sense. I'm an addict. I want it now. I don't want to wait. Get it in my veins now, Chris Perish.
Hey, we don't have to be as chaotic as the band Guns N' Roses, but like one of their songs, you just need a little bit of patience.
I'm tired of patience.
But for my men's Rumble winner,
yeah,
I think if you want to have Roman Reigns keep the title at WrestleMania, CM Punk wins. But if Roman Reigns loses the title at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes. Here's my thing. Did anybody ever say we're officially getting Rock and Roman? No. And has anybody officially said it's going to be at WrestleMania?
No.
No. Why can't that match be at SummerSlam?
Well, I mean, it could. It could. Yeah, why don't they just tell us what they're going to do so we can know?
Wait after the Rumble, at least. You have to.
I mean, come on. Let us know something. Give us something more so we know, because, right? I mean, as I've been saying throughout this whole episode, we are in the Roman times of wrestling, and that's no pun with Roman being our champ. What I mean is we have an abundance of so much talent and so much storylines that it's like I'm getting overwhelmed. It's just so much status coming at me. There's so much possibilities, but I need somebody to be like, hey, this is the truth. This is what's happening. Sit back and enjoy it, because I'm a fan who, even if I know the storyline, I want to see how they're going to do it. I want to see how they're going to pull it off. And right now, man, I mean, from the women's division to the men's division to the up and comers coming up to all the other promotions, wrestling right now is the greatest time it's ever been. Ever. There's so much of it, and there's so many good storylines and so much pure raw talent out there just ready to entertain the hell out of us, that I'm a lucky person to be in this time, you know?
Well, you'd be even luckier if you don't fall short of energy, and I don't want anybody else to. So that's why it's very crucial to go to rogueenergy.com. And because I don't want to see you going bankrupt, I'm going to offer you a very nice promo code to save you 10% off all orders. And that promo code is Perish, Perish, Perish. Promo code Rogue Energy, 10% off. It's all you need to know. But yeah, I can't agree with you more. Like, it's such a fun time, and what I love about this just stretch with the WWE, the Rumble is chaotic. You have chaotic just be the theme of the event. You have no idea. It's like the Rumble match itself. You have no idea what's coming at you. You don't know where it's coming from. You just know you're getting everything all at once. You don't know how to react, but the most you can do is try to keep composed. But then once you're able to do that and you can find yourself on a direct path, you're going to WrestleMania, where that path becomes more definitive as you walk down. So that's what I kind of love in a nutshell about this whole little time that we're in. And I think it just shows how much everyone loves the chaoticness, as They're like, yeah, Rumble's one of my favorite PLEs, pay-per-views. Yeah, it's because we like a little unknown. We like a little sidetrack. We like that little unchaoticness of the WWE. It's fun. And even during the Vince McMahon time, there was a very large amount of chaos in the Rumble matches. I mean, I'm watching an old one as we talk, and it's funny because I'm seeing Mercedes Martinez in the match. And I was like, hey, I've actually seen Mercedes at the Rumble before. Interesting. Talking about that beautiful foreshadow with Pete Dunne, with Andrade, with all these guys. Well, Mandy Rose is on there now. You never know.
Yeah, you honestly never know who's going to show up.
Yeah. I mean,
we've had Pete Rose in there.
We've had Drew Carey.
We've had Drew Carey. So there's
the
opportunities for anybody.
After all.
Yeah, Royal Rumble is a fantastic time. I advise anybody, even if you're not the average viewer of WWE or wrestling as a whole, the Royal Rumble is definitely one of the PLEs that you can sit back, watch, and have a good fun time with people who are not your every week viewer.
Yeah, and kind of as we step away from the Royal Rumble, I'm just going to let everybody know that if you're wanting to watch the Royal Rumble, please do so wherever you have the most fun. But if you want to see some good old entertainment, check no further than CBRS Entertainment. Chris Best, as he is doing a live watch along of the Royal Rumble. So check him out on all his platforms and perhaps some Turnbuckle Studios platforms as well. And if you want to be a part of it, message him. Let him know. And enjoy the Royal Rumble. So, yeah. I don't want to go too much further, but the one thing we must talk about, as we have lately, the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
What an amazing week we got last week, simply because I just about called everything.
Yeah, you really did.
As you can tell, I am supporting the Detroit Lions this week because I hate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I love them this week. They're my favorite team this week.
Yeah, I didn't ask you.
Okay, sorry.
You want to be on next week? No, just kidding.
That was good.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, like a good team, you got to throw that audible, right? You got to be able. Your vision has to be out there. Last night we saw. Well, yesterday we definitely saw a game that we knew exactly how it was going to go with Houston and Baltimore. We very well knew it was going. I think we all were shocked that it was a tied game going into half. Houston kind of messed up. They could have been up. Failed some execution. And then eventually the game just, got out of their range when Baltimore just scored whenever they wanted to, and really took it. They made no mistakes. But there's definitely some ways where I'm like, you know what? I can see some teams like a Kansas City eyeing in on that. I can see maybe Buffalo eyeing in on that. So they have to become a lot more sharper if they're going to beat either Kansas City or Buffalo, which is the match we have later tonight. That is your marquee, your main event on Sunday night. As well as we have the Detroit Lions going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were the only team that won that I didn't call, but I also said that was a game where I'm just hoping they lost. And could not believe that Philadelphia found more ways to lose that game than OMD's Toronto Maple Leafs find ways to lose the Stanley Cup playoffs. But that just happened. And it was crazy to me to see a team just be that far out of sync with one another. And just a really, really crappy scenario, because that could have been, and probably is, Jason Kelsey's last NFL game.
Yeah.
What a career, first off. From what I saw, the guy has not missed a start in his entire career.
That's incredible.
As a center, you do not miss. Like, wow. But what were your thoughts on last week's games as we have, obviously, this week's games? We also saw the Green Bay Packers almost defeat San Francisco. That was a lot closer to a game than I thought.
Yeah, that one, I came in about third quarter, 9 minutes left on that game, and I was kind of shocked to see that the score was where it was, because I mean, these are two teams that are young. They're very scoring, like they can score on anybody, and it's usually when you have teams like that, and from what I've noticed, that when they can score at will on other teams, usually when they meet up, especially for a high stakes game such in the playoffs, usually kind of turns out like that, to where it's not high scoring. And because I mean, it's the defense of the 49ers really held them in that game. If the Niners defense wouldn't have been able to hold up to Jordan's miraculous plays that he can do, we've seen him do it all year. He's a phenom back there. But yeah, I was very, very, very like thrown back seeing the score that late in the game. But last week's games, honestly, you called it, dude. You were on the ball with a lot of those. I'm happy that Green Bay's out. I mean, that's somebody I'm extremely happy is out. Next, Detroit to leave. I need them to leave, and then I'll be a happy Bears fan. You know, I don't really care about Tampa Bay. They don't really. I mean, they seem to be there now after getting the love from Tom Brady for a couple seasons, and now they're pretty consistent. They're a team to worry about, but again, their wide receivers are getting older. Their wide receivers are getting maybe not as much love as they would with a I don't know, like a Tom Brady type of quarterback, you know, with that tough grit, everything. They've been there before. They know how to play the game. They know how to be the champion, you know. I think that organization definitely got extra off of that, just having him around for the most part. But I mean, today, besides the Lions leaving, do I even care about the Chiefs and Bills? I do, but the Bills beat the Chiefs. We don't have to hear about Taylor Swift. I'm okay with that. But if Kansas City beats the Bills, I don't have to see Buffalo fans. I'm okay with that. So, like, I mean,
so you've just became the biggest Baltimore Raven fan.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I kind of want to see him do more. And like Lamar said in his
he just ran at will in that game.
Well, when he got drafted on draft day, and they're talking to him on stage, and it's by himself and the reporter, and the reporter asked, "What are you going to bring to the organization of Baltimore?" And he looked dead in the camera and he said, "Championships." And his play of the last few years, how can you deny this young man his due? And I really think that this might be his year, because like you said, those other teams are eyeing the fact that there was a mistake-free game and they were on the ball. Lamar Jackson is also a beast. He's a phenom. He is somebody to understand that you guys have to adapt to that situation, and Lamar Jackson gets it. He's a computer. You put in the data, he understands it, he reads it, and then he figures a way to win.
Yeah. We have the Luke coming in saying, "Yo, how are you guys? We're doing well. Thank you for joining. We appreciate that. Appreciate you checking us out, especially on YouTube. How are you doing?" We're talking a little bit NFL football. Josh is talking a little bit of Lamar Jackson and his vow to bring the championships to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like he was asked, like you said, on the day he was drafted. And like I agree, like he has a mission, and I think right now he's more locked into that mission. And I think Baltimore, when they drafted Zay Flowers, the emergence of Isaiah Likely, who I do believe, even with Mark Andrews back, I think he should be their tight end one. I understand how good Mark Andrews is. I also just think Isaiah Likely and the chemistry he has in that system works better. I really like it. They have a running gun offense.
Yeah.
As fast as Lamar Jackson can run the ball, he can throw it just as quickly too. That guy has a rocket as an arm.
Yeah.
He's not like the Saints' backup Jameson Winston, who I think when he throws the ball, you could probably watch a full episode of Raw and then still have time to go get a hot dog and then get in position to catch the ball. It's insanely slow.
Raw's a 3-hour show.
I know that. I'm very aware. I'm aware of the joke. As a Saints fan, it pisses me off how long it takes him to get the ball to his receiver, and I just don't mean sometimes his decision making. I mean the throw itself. But Lou coming in saying, doing good. I think it will be the Ravens versus the 49ers. Both teams have been playing great. And he's like, and my Eagles are out, who flopped harder than LeBron. Dude, as a Saints fan who wanted your Eagles, who I'm not a fan of, to beat the Buccaneers, I now dislike your team more because of that. But we also talked about how absolutely insane of a career Jason Kelce had, and it's going to suck to see him out. I'm also like, I can't help, like, there are guys on the Eagles I do like. Can't say I hate everyone on the team. But
yeah, I mean he's definitely a teammate that you wish would are on the Saints.
I mean, we gave you Chauncey Johnson at like a discounted price last year, so don't understand that move, but whatever. So yeah, if you're wondering why I say I'm a Saints fan and I have a Lions jersey on, it's because I'm anti-Bucks. So yeah, there we go. You know, it's also I couldn't wear the jersey last week because it is a Matt Stafford Lions jersey, so it was like a toss of both worlds.
I can't believe I'm sitting here with you wearing a Detroit Lions jersey. What am I doing with my life? I
have no idea. That's something you got to really look in the mirror with.
Yeah, you just send the invite. If I click it, that's on me.
The Lou saying I'm anti-Bucks too. Go Lions. So there we go.
Shut up, Lou. No one needs your input on this one, butthole.
So joining me next week on the Chris Perish podcast, the Lou, no, I'm just kidding.
Hey, the Lou Wood, he's a everybody. If you're out there and you're watching this, go check out the Lou and his the Buddies Network. They are fantastic. I am a part of it. I'm there every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday night. You have TNT on Tuesday. You have Thursdays usually just gaming, and then FUF. It's I'm going to keep it PG here, but it's a fun community game night where you can come and join us and have fun.
Just because they're close to where I live, go Lions. That's perspective.
World. What the flipping?
Okay, you want to know some other reasons why I'm cheering for the Lions, and these are because
absolutely not. No,
Dan Campbell is a beauty. Used to be a Saints coach. We messed up by letting him go and keeping Dennis Allen. Alex Anzalone. Love the guy. That guy has a nice little flow. And you got to get Teddy Bridgewater his ring before he retires.
No, you don't.
I sure do.
You don't have to give anybody anything.
But of all the teams there, okay, I can't cheer for the Bucs. I don't want to see the Swifties or anybody on Kansas City win again. Can't cheer for teams that like that. I'm not a big Buffalo Bills guy. I think Josh Allen is a diva. I'm not sold on Baltimore, although I don't hate them. They're just like and I like to be not when it comes to the Super Bowl. So
I kind of like to be not on the Super Bowl. I understand. I totally get your language on that one.
And George Kittle completely screwed me in fantasy this year. And as much as I like Brock Purdy, fuck you, George Kittle. So I'm
You
not
heard it
cheering
here.
for San Fran.
Hey,
So I'm
I've always
kind
had
of
a
by default now a Detroit fan for the playoffs until they lose, and then I have to cheer for somebody else, I guess.
well, until they lose, you're gross to me.
Whatever. You'll get over it.
Yeah, the season's almost over.
Yeah. Don't get mad at me just because your team doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah, my team's never going to do anything good.
Yeah, don't worry, mine isn't either. So it's all good.
Despite
the black and gold that I rep on this podcast, I'm not gonna lie, they're playing like a poo brown right now.
Hey, can I bring some up real quick? And it's sports related. Okay, so as a Chicago Bears fan, as a Chicago team fan, I really do enjoy a lot of the Chicago teams. I just want to take a moment to say, any of you sports broadcasters out there, any of you people who work at ESPN or go on the X and tweet things, and I love it, beautiful. Let me just say something to you. The ownership of Chicago teams has been dog dick for centuries. And the fact that people are getting booed and you're having a big cry fest about it because boo. Shut up. Shut up. Those owners from all of those teams, besides the Blackhawks, I'll step away from them because I like what they do as an organization. But I will tell you this, the Bulls and the Bears, your ownership, and I don't know, even the Cubs, you guys are dumb. You're stupid, and none of you should actually own any type of teams because you make horrible decisions year after year after year. And then when you get booed, you go, why does everybody hate us? Well, it's because you suck. Look at you guys and what you did to Michael Jordan, the greatest man to ever touch a basketball, and all the shit you did, the less checks you gave Scottie Pippen. This whole team built your franchise. That whole team made the NBA. Nobody in that generation did not like the Bulls. Everybody wore them. You could go all across the world at that time and somebody had a Bulls jersey. Probably couldn't tell you what basketball really was besides, I like Michael Jordan. Who cares? You guys are the worst state ran organizations when it comes to teams. I'm sorry, but I cannot stand this anymore. I am so tired of hearing Steve Kerr criticize fans for giving their opinion. You know what? You suck too, Steve Kerr. You suck. You're a horrible, horrible, horrible person. I don't like you at all. Okay, I'm done.
I just love the fact you're a horrible person. I don't like you.
I don't like Steve Kerr. I think he's a big baby, and
You
he played
don't
for
say.
one of the greatest teams, and he's just a big crybaby.
But Josh,
yeah,
tell us how you really feel.
I'm sorry. Fans, I apologize, but I keep seeing this, and usually I keep my mouth shut about a lot of the sports stuff, and I stick to the topics, but damn it, I am so tired. I love Chicago teams. I absolutely love them, except the Cubs. I hate the Cubs. But all the other ones are fantastic. I love them. And I used to spend hours of my childhood watching your organizations, and to see the fact that you guys are Chicago people are tough, and they can thick-skinned, and they can take an insult, you know. Someone tells you, hey, fuck you, buddy. You're like, hey, go eat a sausage, buddy. You know, like it just rolls off your back. And to see these people go, oh, stick up for us, Steve Kerr, because you're so inspirational. No. Enough. Enough of it. Enough of me. Let's move on.
So the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of them either. They ruined Calvin Johnson. Megatron had a if you would have gave him the every ammunition that he needed to be in the Super Bowl, he would have got you a damn Super Bowl ring. But no, what'd you do with Megatron? And now we don't even hear from him. And that's sad. Barry Sanders, too. You screwed over Barry Sanders. That man, to me, as a 5'4" male, that's the limit I've reached in my life. To see Barry Sanders out there doing what he did every single game, and the fact that you did not have at least one Super Bowl behind him, what the hell are you doing?
Out of the whole rant, I'm still befuddled that I'm taller than you.
Yeah, there's a lot of people taller than you. I line up with actually Joe Rogan's height. If you put me and Joe Rogan next to each other, me and him are the same height.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's annoying, man. It's annoying to see such great talents just get nothing at the end of their career. Besides it being great, yeah, that's great, but you don't start off as a kid dreaming of being great. You start off dreaming of winning the tournament, winning the championship.
Yeah, Chris Best is
so does 98% of the goddamn world, Chris Best. It's not you didn't give me something that I've not heard before. Damn it. There's only like 2.3% of the world that actually envies my height.
Oh. And that's the whole entire
God damn it. Now I feel like an asshole. I went on a rant.
Well, I mean, it's all right. We'll just clip that and make it viral.
So fans, this might be the last show.
We'll just tweet Steve Kerr and say, we appreciate you.
I don't know about that one.
I mean, outside of the Saints, like my hockey team's on a 13-game heater, so I'm okay with that. That's nice.
Glad you're doing great.
Well, I mean, until they win a championship, I don't give a flying, you know what, about their 13-game heater. I want them to turn that into a ring.
It's still impressive in hockey, though.
It is officially now the longest win streak out of all Canadian teams.
There you go. There's something.
So
that's actually pretty impressive.
In the modern era, I think we're like 4 away from the record. So that should be interesting if they can get it. They should win their next game. Not a problem. They're not playing a good team next. So 14 should be okay. But no. So that's interesting. But I don't know. What are your expectations in the games today? Like from the ones we have, I know you don't want Detroit to win.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can be impartial
because like the way I look at it, I'm like, I still don't believe in Baker Mayfield to winning you a Super Bowl.
No.
And I didn't think that they were amazing last week against Philadelphia. I thought, again, the same way Dallas won their division, I thought it was more Philadelphia found ways to lose it. And I thought the same thing with that game. The only thing that tricks me with Tampa Bay is they got an active defense. Mm-hmm. However, Detroit has a very active and violent defense as they took Higbee to the IR with a very they got to take those hits on football. That's just dangerous.
Yeah, those are.
But Dan Campbell said on his first press conference, he's there to break some kneecap, and he definitely delivered that. But I also like the consistency of Jared Goff last week, which was weird because he has a tendency of giving the ball up a lot, whether it's through fumble or interceptions, and he minimized those last week. So if he's able to do that again, if Amon St. Brown continues to absolutely just freak out, this is going to provide some very much issues with Tampa Bay. We even said we didn't think Sam Laporta was going to play. He ended up playing last week and played very well. Mm-hmm. Almost had 100 yards in receiving. I think it was like low 90s or high 80s. And that's his first game back from a few weeks. So if he's back there, that's going to go, and that's going to provide some added issues for Tampa Bay's defense. Now you have options on those end. Montgomery seems to be running at will. Can we say much more about Jahmyr Gibbs right now? Like, that guy's killing.
You're spot on with all that. And like we talked about, you being extremely right on your picks last week. The only thing you got wrong was the mistakes you expected from Goff. Yeah. That was the only thing. He played a very well-rounded game, and it was surprising. It was refreshing. Now, obviously, I'm not a Lions fan, but right now the Lions have the ability to go on to the next level. I mean, they have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of answers to anybody else's weapons that they're going up against. And like you said, that defense right now is out there to win. Yeah. Whatever their offense is lacking, the defense is there to pick it up. And they understand it from the top to the bottom on that line. They understand what their goal is. And honestly, I could see Detroit winning this game. If I had to go to Vegas today and make a bet, I would put my safe money on Detroit winning this. But that whoever wins this goes against the Niners. Am I correct?
Yeah.
I think it would be, as a
given
fan,
yesterday's game with Niners and Green Bay and how much trouble Green Bay gave San Fran. If you're able to contain Debo and as much as you can McCaffrey, which I don't think is impossible, it's just difficult. If Detroit's somehow able to do that, or at least match their offense, that's a scary matchup for San Fran.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going with that. Like this could be Detroit's actual ticket to get this win today. I could say that they could punch their way into the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They could make it.
And just like you, as like talking about the Lions in a completely like respectful, unbiased way, you can't overshadow what Mike Evans can do. You can't overshadow what Chris Godwin can do. Cade Otton is having a very good year as well. So there are things on the offense. And Rashad White is just a really good running back. Like we can't overlook that. I pick that guy in fantasy every year if I had the opportunity. That guy's consistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's not a gimme, but at the same time, if Detroit just plays their game, they shouldn't lose.
Exactly.
And that's just it. Like, if you don't give Tampa Bay a chance to win, you won't lose. That's just, I know that's a very vague statement, but
it's the truth, though.
They're to me a better team, and they don't have a reason to be a worse team unless they shoot themselves in the foot. And sometimes, like when just watching the game against LA, you're seeing sometimes like they're going for a bigger hit than maybe the safe tackle. That could be the way they do it. Could also be Jared Goff. Like, he does have a tendency of unprotecting that football when he's about to be sacked, and that's scary at times because that could lead to fumbles, that could lead to turnovers. So that could be another way. But if they're able to minimize those two, I think you're sailing very comfortably to the Bay of San Francisco.
I think so too. I mean, it just seems. I mean, we're more wrestling based mindsets when it comes to, what we speak to our fans about. Yeah. And if you're going, storyline wise, that's what I want to see. I want to see Detroit, San Francisco going at it, and seeing if San Francisco is a legit contender, because that would be their biggest way to prove it this year, is if you take out the Lions, because the Lions are on a roll this year. I'm eating my words right now. The further they get in this fucking playoffs, I look more and more foolish with my statements to all Lions fans at the beginning of the season. So, I mean, it's really cool to see too in sports where somebody who has been watching sports for, oh God, since 85. You know, like, this is awesome to see. It's awesome to see a team that you've consistently been watching throughout your viewing career, and seeing them, like I said, the Barry Sanders, the Calvin Johnsons, not get their due. And then this team is pushing and going, and it's fucked up to say Jared Goff is at the helm of this. I never thought I would say it, but I'm here saying it. And I mean, Campbell, he's definitely proven that when he says something, you might want to listen.
He's the right coach for this team.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no doubt on that.
There you go. He should get Coach of the Year if this year, even if he doesn't win the Super Bowl. He's turned an organization around.
Hey, he helped win the first playoff game in 30 plus years in Detroit. Yeah. And
I mean, come on.
So I'm gonna say this, and I want to see if I'm wrong. But what the Saints, what Sean Payton and Drew Brees meant for the New Orleans city after Katrina, I think it'd be said the same about Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions to the city of Detroit. Maybe not in the same extremity, because obviously you cannot compare the two situations by any means.
Yeah.
But in terms of maybe in an emotional thing from just a football era, I mean, man, being 30 plus years of just disappointing, and then, man, you even had a year where you didn't win a single game, and then now you're winning a division, you're winning a playoff, that's a really good story, whether you like the team or not.
I mean, they're doing fantastic, and it's I can understand your comparison there.
I agree with Luke. I do think San Fran has the better team. I also just don't want them to win.
I do think San Francisco does have a better team, but that Green Bay game showed us some things.
Yeah, and
because and if you're going up, if you're having that much trouble with a Green Bay team with that young of talent, you're gonna have trouble with a team with a coach with the ability to put the right talent in the right roles to adapt to your game plan. And Campbell's done that time after time after time this season.
I would be very intrigued to see what happens, because there was a thing mid-year with the Super Bowl logo and how it's the last few years, the colors in the Super Bowl logo has leaked out who the finals were, right? Based on the colors. And this year, all I've heard is Ravens, 49ers, because they're purple and red, right? If that is your Super Bowl, a year after this whole scripted football thing comes into place, and then they make fun of it in their promotional stuff for the year, holy crap, I there's no defending at that point, right? It's shit. What do we do now? We all of a sudden just have a Kelsey's podcast. They happen to play each other in that year's Super Bowl, and then they become popular, and then all of a sudden we have all these, and then next year we're going to make fun of this script thing that just is, how can you say that? And then we're going to put out this logo that happens to have the colors of the two people in the Super Bowl. And the fans picked this out months and months and months before. How do we dig ourselves out of this?
Sometimes the best way is to just lean into it. Honestly, everybody, let's just wait a week before the Super Bowl. Let's wait until the very last games before the Super Bowl, before we even find out who's going, because I think, like you said, they played to it in a commercial. I think they're gonna stick to their grounds, and they're gonna keep playing into it. But I mean, let's play. We were in the Royal Rumble predictions and having fun there. Let's play this game. So it is sports entertainment. I mean, that's exactly what they changed it. I believe it was somewhere in the mid 90s. And when you add the entertainment label to it,
Yeah.
you always open the door for the conspiracy crowd. And it is a conspiracy because some teams, the last,
No.
see, there you go. The Lou's even in on it. But there are guys who talked about from the NBA who are retired who said that there was a specific one. Would you rather see when LeBron, Wade, and Bosh were all on the Heat? Would you have rather seen them go against a mediocre Philadelphia team who just squeaked by, or do you want to see them go against the Boston Celtics? So in that interview, those two guys who were on the team said, for us to win this, we have to win by 15. And they couldn't understand, the rookie couldn't understand what he was saying. And he was like, they want us to lose so bad that for every point we're ahead, we actually have to be 15 points ahead, because the way they're going to set the refs calls, they're going to set the fouls and things like that. And that could just be guys wanting to get viewers.
Poke the bear, right?
Yeah,
Like
poke the bear,
bear,
get the views, keep the name alive, keep the money coming in. And why wouldn't you? That's what let's play psychology right now. That's what a majority of viewership is. Yeah. TV programming is programming. It's they program you through commercials to like the products, to think this product is better when you go to the store because Molly Ringwald she was advertising it. So who cares? It's fun, it's entertaining, it keeps millions of people entertained. But I do like the aspect that that's how they could be leaking this. I like it. I love it.
Especially, okay, say it's true. Just like, let's just play that. Like, say it's true, and the fans picked up on it, and they're like, come on. And they're like, nah, we're still doing it. Like,
they're just rolling with it. They're
talk about the swinging dick in the room, huh? And not thinking anything's wrong. Like, we're just doing it. We're just going to go and stick to our guns, and we're just like, man, you'll like it. It's like Vince McMahon's like, I will tell you what you like, and you will like it.
That's like, exactly what it's like. Okay. I do like this. Thank you, Vince. Meow, 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 meow.
Oh, God. He was right.
He was. Now we just need to figure out the MLB.
And now Bud Light is my favorite beer again.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, no. I'm also just going to let everybody know Bud Light is not my favorite beer. That was a joke, and do not take it literally.
No. If you are a Bud Light fan, I would advise you to go out there and buy as much Bud Light as possible, because there are some rumors that between the workers in March that they are going on strike, and Bud Light cannot withstand a strike right now. They are still trying to climb back from a couple of their choices. So
I can honestly say in my fridge to my right, I have local craft beer, and then the brand beer that I have that you would know would be Coors Original, because to me, that's the best one.
I only have whiskeys, so
I'm a beer guy,
beer.
So,
no beer here, guys. You want to talk to me about whiskeys? I'll talk all day.
So and then I guess too, like, we have Buffalo and Kansas City. I think we all
just give up. Both teams just quit.
You know what? I'm going to say this. I do not want Buffalo winning. I also don't want Kansas City winning. However, I have no issue with Kansas City going to the Super Bowl and losing. Because there's something about me being a wrestling fan and the Ric Flair, to be the man, you must beat the man. There's something nice about beating the champion for the title. I like when that happens in sports. So if the Kansas City, who's the defending champions, lose their crown of defending champion to another team by losing them in the Super Bowl, I kind of like that story, because it's the sports way of, to be the man, you must beat the man.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. Now, if Kansas City goes to the Super Bowl, that's scary, because they have good shot at winning. And that's, I think, something nobody wants to see unless you're a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, because if they're going to beat the Ravens to get to there, then yeah, they have a great shot of winning.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens, I'm sorry, but they are the team this year. Lamar Jackson is not messing around anymore.
No.
It's win time, and I honestly would like to see a scenario where Baltimore beats Kansas City, goes on, wins the whole thing. We have Raven champions for a year. Who knows? I mean, they right now they're a team that could do back to back if they stay with what they're doing and they stick to their game plan. Also, I could see Detroit. I'm sorry to say it. I don't want to say it, but I could see them actually taking this, if they win everything, taking this team and just building upon it and trying to move forward, even maybe get another Super Bowl right after. And it's with a mind like Campbell behind you, guiding you, that puts you in a very good opportunity for that.
Yeah. And I'm saying all this with like the whole aspect of I like Brock Purdy. I like Brandon Ayuk. There's a lot of things I like about San Francisco. It's after this year from being a George Kittle fantasy owner, he's not one of them. And I'm sorry, but don't call yourself a top end tight end and get me 6 or under fantasy points on 6 different times and cost me a shot of winning the fantasy league. George Kittle, I can get over it after this year, but not this year.
You're a bad person, George Kittle.
Yeah. And your hair sucks. Your flow is a no-go in my books.
Nope.
Yeah.
Get a better conditioner, jerk.
Yeah. Go see Troy Polamalu, you loser.
Yeah. Best hair in the game. He hasn't even been in the game for years.
Now he's mini Troy in the Head and Shoulders commercials, and it's funny.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Even Pat Mahomes likes little Troy.
This is true. This is true.
But yeah, no, I mean, what are your predictions for next week? Obviously, it's Baltimore versus, and then we have San Fran versus who are we seeing in the championship games?
I honestly think it's going to be San Fran Lions. I think it's going to be Ravens. I'm going to say it Kansas City. I just think Kansas City's going to do it. I think Josh Allen, good mediocre quarterback, he can get you there, but I just don't think he can get you over. I don't see it. I don't think they have the team this year for that, but it's the NFL. Anything can happen any given Sunday.
Yeah.
It's, and I'm just one guy in a basement in my studio just giving my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, obviously look for both Josh Allen's, Pat Mahomes to go crazy. When they play each other, they go tit for tat all the time, right? I have a feeling Travis Kelce and Gabe Davis are going to be the guys on each team that ball out. Because obviously if the quarterback has a game, you need somebody who catches the ball as well. I think Gabe Davis usually is quiet for a game, and somehow he's like wide receiver 1 the next week. So I think he's going to play an important role for Buffalo this week. I think Kelce, who hasn't been very defining over the last few weeks or really all year, he's kind of taken a step back, more of a fantasy bust, if you ask me. I think he's going to come out. But if I'm going under Lair, I think James Cook and Rashee Rice are going to be players today as well. And if by chance Kansas City does get a lead, I think Isaiah Pacheco is going to be a guy that can cause some issues for Buffalo.
Oh, most definitely.
And now I don't know. I traded Miles Sanders and a 4th last year for Pacheco before the season. What a steal that was.
Yeah, that's incredible.
a steal. But yeah, no, I mean, I just can't see Detroit losing like Philadelphia did. I just can't. No shades to you, Lou.
No.
But I can't see them making that many mistakes as we have the
It's the Bulkster.
the Bucks. Yeah, I'm so excited for the World Series. Also, great talk, guys. Yeah, go Expos. I've been to a game, so it's actually fun. I once almost caught a Jay Buhner foul ball at the Kingdom. That's one of my cooler baseball stories. But
I like it.
we could talk some baseball next week, although we'll definitely talk some Royal Rumble next week as well. But yeah, I'm going Detroit, San Fran, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go Buffalo, Baltimore, as much as I don't want to see it.
It could be exciting. I think it would be definitely a Baltimore-driven game.
I don't know. If Josh Allen, when he's on his run game, he's on his run game.
But you're going up against the defense of Baltimore.
Yeah.
That secondary.
Their defense also has to go up against the offense of Buffalo.
True. I just this year I think that
and they're hot as hell right now. As much as I hate it, Buffalo is one of the hottest teams in football.
I think that side is going to have more of the like you said in the Buffalo and Kansas City game, it's going to be just gunning. Yeah, and we're going to see a high-scoring game. It's going to be fun. It's going to give you that energy. And then next week, whoever's going up against the Ravens, you need to study. You need to understand what you're about to go up against.
Yeah, but to be fair, imagine if Baltimore, like I'll go to this script thing. Imagine if Baltimore's D has to go up against the firepower of San Fran. That is not a matchup I'm giving Baltimore's D.
Yeah, that's one you're going to have to really that's going to be a toss-up with that one. And that's what that's the one I'm looking most for.
And I'm not going to lie, I even like Detroit's offense in that scenario too. They got some playmakers.
They do. They really do. I mean, it's definitely going to be a cool NFC versus AFC showdown.
Yeah.
Because if the AFC doesn't bring it, the NFC is going to have some big guys trying to make some big plays. And just like the other side, if the NFC doesn't bring it, AFC is going to fucking light them up. Because, I mean, every team that is battling for that spot right now is well deserving and well worth their weight in being there.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to talk about the battle of two former Rams quarterbacks in Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
But I think with all that being said, I think we must safely wrap it up for this week. So Josh, we did. I appreciate that. Thank you for being that non-Best Buy, that staple here today. And just thank you for the rants. Those are terrific.
Oh, that's something I'm ashamed of.
Don't be. Don't be. But let the people know what else you have going on, where people could find you. What other platforms can the good people see you ranting on?
Well, you can always find me on my Twitch channel, Joshua Joseph the Voice. There's underscores in between all that. You can also find me on my Twitter, JJ the Voice 64, Facebook, Joshua Joseph. I'm usually in a lot of chats of streamers that I really enjoy. Turnbuckle, you can find me there on the Monday nights in the chats. I'm usually there until I pass out. You can find me on Tuesdays. I join up with the Lou, who you've seen in our chat, and we do TNT Thunder. It's a fun community created game. Like, they created a universe for us. We're all characters. We do promos. We do fun stuff. It's part of the WWE 2K23 world where they made their own TNT promotion. It's fun there. Then that's Tuesdays. I'm a part of being the watch alongs on Fridays SmackDown. That's on my personal Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. It's a Window Lickers watch along. We watch SmackDown. I just absolutely love wrestling and love talking it. So come join me. Come have some fun on Friday nights. We just watch SmackDown. It's so much fun. And the Bulkster. Yes, the Bulkster is out there. He is a staple of TNT. Just seriously, come out, join us, have fun. There's a lot of creativity that goes into this. Viking, Storm, and the Lou definitely do great work, and they really bring fun people to a community that just wants to have a really good time over wrestling.
Awesome stuff. Obviously, you can always find me here on my Twitch at twitch.com/thechrisperish, on my YouTube at Chris Perish, and on my Facebook at thechrisperish. It is the fan page. Check that out every week, every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern. You can see the Chris Perish podcast, usually with myself, Joshua Joseph. So next week, 8th edition. Going to talk a lot of Royal Rumble, and check that out. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NFL as well. Yep. So don't want to miss that, as we're going to be just gratified with happiness of probably what we're going to watch. But also, you can see me every Monday on Turnbuckle Studios, who Chris Perish Podcast is happily affiliated with, for the Monday Night Watch Along at about 8 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, we watch Monday Night Raw. We showcase our opinions. We go off the rails. We shoot the shit. We have a good time. Come and join. It's a lot of fun. You can find me on all of the other platforms, whether it's the Instagram, the Threads at Chris.Perish. You can find me on the X at Chris Perish. You can find me on the Kick. Don't know why I got it. I just do. My TikTok at Chris Perish. Come check that out. If you are going to stay along, we are going to raid Nico Vibes. So give them a shout out. They're playing some, I believe it's a 2K23, doing some Global Elite Wrestling. So go say hi. Give them a little support as they are doing their thing here. And then also, if you want to watch on any old episodes of the Chris Perish Podcast, or maybe caught a little bit of this episode, go to Spotify and check out the Chris Perish Podcast. It will be uploaded later today, and you can see all episodes 1 to 6 in its completion therefore as well. But for now, my name is Chris Perish. This has been Joshua Joseph. He is also known as The Voice. I am known as grateful for all of you checking us out and spending your Sundays with us. Until next week, have a good night and go Saints. And let's break some kneecaps.